Hey everyone, it's Darren Benton with Performance Motor Coaches in Wolford, Texas. We are in the showroom with a new 2025 Explorer. It seems like it's been a long time since we've been inside the showroom here in Texas, and definitely inside the showroom with a new unit. But glad to finally have some stock inventory. We actually have two 2025 Explorers. This is in fact, they're both the same floor plan, but this one is the 40 bath and a half. So basically, this unit has a mid bath with a full rear bath. What's kind of unique about this one being a 2025, so we'll talk about a few different changes they did for 2025. This is the only DT powered, so it's Detroit transmission powered Explorer out there. So pretty proud to have this being the only one. So prior to, all of the Explorers had the Allison 6-speed transmission. This has the 12-speed Detroit transmission, which, if you know anything about Freightliner, essentially this truck was re-engineered around this engine and transmission. So I feel like it's the best power combination out there. We built them in a lot of classics. We struggle a little bit in classics because people have to have 600 horse, and the Explorer, they will be 525. Regardless, you can't get a 600 horse, but what I like is the DT transmission versus 6-speed Allison. Essentially, if you look to the automotive world right now, transmissions are, 8-speed, 10-speed. You go buy a new F-150, it's going to be a 10-speed. You go buy a new Chevrolet 3/4 ton, Ford 1 ton, they're all going to say a 10-speed transmission. The idea back behind having more gears is when they downshift, I kind of assimilate this to going to summer camp as a kid and being in an old Suburban, and whenever the downshift, the RPMs went crazy, and it put a lot of stress on the engine, and you really couldn't accelerate properly without the engine going crazy. So similar to, take that back to this, the 6-speed Allison, if you're heading up a hill and it downshifts into 5th gear, you're lucky to maintain speed. You really can't accelerate going uphill, versus something with more gears, you downshift to, say, from 12-speed to 11-speed, you keep on accelerating. You're not gear bound, your RPMs don't shoot up like crazy. So it's just a lot smoother, better ride. If you're towing, a huge difference, but just as far as if you've driven both of them, I think that most people will pick the DT transmission. And as far as numbers, I think when we came on as a Renegade dealer, call it 4 years ago, they were like 15-20% DT transmissions on the Classics and XLs. And now that number is almost flip-flop. So very few Allisons. Of course, all the Explorers have been Allison, so really happy to have the very first Explorer with a DT transmission. So chassis-wise, if you're looking at the 116 chassis, which is the short hood, you don't see this little bar right here. It's a little bit squattier hood. The axle gets pushed back as well. It's still a 45-degree wheel cut, but I feel like it turns a little bit sharper, and maybe just because the axles get pushed back a little bit on the Explorer. So 2022 was the first year for the new redesigned Explorer. They went with elevated front and rear caps. They really haven't done much difference. Really haven't changed the product much from 22, just mild little changes. But the number one thing that I've been pushing for since the product inception was soft touch walls. So that's standard for 2025, soft touch walls. We have that other video of that Explorer we'll try to link together. So all Explorers will be 4 slides, basically a 38 mid-bath or the 40 bath and a half. So I'll open up some of these as we kind of go along. So this coach has, from the factory, Starlink. It does have the combined storage compartments. Standard, and the only available heating system will be the AquaHot 450. Of course, everything has lined storage compartments, use basically like a bed liner there. The AquaHot 450 is tied to the engine, so your waste heat will keep that system warm driving up and down the road, and then you can reverse cycle that and actually preheat your engine if you're at camp. It's relatively cold outside. So I brought this in, we washed it, haven't done any adjustments to it whatsoever. That's how I wanted a storage door to close. I want to be able to just kind of give it a little nudge and close perfectly. That's one thing we do in our PDI process. I bet you this is locked. Yep, it's locked. So 43-inch exterior TV with a sound bar. It does come out and turn around. So for the people that saw the video the other day of the 2025 Explorer, right about this time, if you saw some really deep confusion in my eyes, you I'll explain what was going on. I kind of flipped my lid a little bit at that point in time because I didn't know they took this great valuable compartment that's normally on the Explorer, which would be considered a 3/4 compartment. So previous Explorers, this guy opened up, and then below the frame, it went all the way underneath the frame. So if you saw that video and wondered if I got hit in the head whenever I was doing the walkthrough right about here, I was so shocked to see that go away. Definitely frustrating. The idea was to alleviate some weight on the rear axle. I would have definitely forego 20 gallons of water to have that additional 3/4 pass through. So that's about the only thing that I really don't like about the 2025s. Everything else, they did a phenomenal job, but very, very sad to see that 3/4 pass through go away. If the powers that be are watching this video, shame on you. I don't like not knowing. Don't like not knowing. So central vac is standard. Basically, they started that 25. So central vac basically in all the product lines. So we have not done anything here, so it's kind of a little bit of a mess. Just wanted to get inside over the weekend. So this is the Tundra, which is solid white. You could use the new paint schemes. You could use the old paint schemes. Now the Tundra and Polaris, which are white and gray, that's the same 24 to 25, but they did a new paint scheme. Our 2025 Explorer and Stratus is the old paint scheme just because I thought it was a good classic paint scheme, but I want to do something just a little bit different for somebody who might want a solid white unit. This is painted white. It's on any kind of, you know, if you're looking at a classic, this is all white sheet metal, but this is all painted white. So the smart transfer switch, got 36 foot of shore cord there. We do have a 110 outlet up on the right. You can always take and add, say, a 50 amp outlet there. Standard generator will be 8K. No option for any kind of larger generator on the Explorer. So you can see, you know, nice stainless steel exhaust pipes there for your engine and for your Aquahot. Nice wet bay. They upgraded the water filter canister. There are lots of, if you read anything about on the forums, they talked about how quickly the original canister gets full. We will hide and watch and see how fast this gets full on sediment and whatnot, but always a nice clean wet bay itself. So these are manual lockers. I did not manually unlock. It does have the macerator system, so you'll get a 75 gray and a 75 gallon black. But unfortunately, those are not part of the system and they're still locked. I didn't want to bore you with going to get the keys. So this is kind of nice. For 2025, they allowed the dual inverters and then additional solar panels. So you'll see the little bit larger solar controller down there on the right and the dual Victron inverters there. They're 3,000 watts a piece. And then a servo-based system to be able to check in on everything. Did 3 of the 270 amp hour Battleborn batteries, and you got your chassis batteries up top there. Excuse me. This is a little quick disconnect to be able to air up a tire. Now keep in mind you're limited to about 120 PSI, so if you're trying to get your tires up to over that 120 PSI, you'll have to use an auxiliary compressor, but it's good to just be able to kind of get you out of a jam. I think we still have it locked. So we'll do everything on the inside. So 120 gallon fuel tank, which will be standard on all the Cascadias unless you do something wild and crazy after the fact, or whether you custom order a chassis, but Renegade doesn't bring anything on more than 120 gallon fuel tank. So we can always take and add any kind of blackout package. We generally don't like to do that from the factory because you're a set wheel versus if a customer wants a blackout package, we can do so many things here at the dealership that would be different than the factory equipped. And it's obviously for less money if you don't know that. So you get your options on what kind of blackout package, your options on wheels. We can take exhaust pipes off. We can take mud flaps. We can take basically anything on this that needs a painted or powder coat. So to really kind of offset things to kind of give it a really cool, clean look. Additionally, we keep the American Racing wheels in stock in black. In fact, you can see the little display over there of some of those. And we also keep a lot of the grill guards in stock. We keep the X-Guard grill guards, and we also keep the new Hurd grill guard, and we do have some of the entire bumper replacements as well that remove this bumper and covers up the whole front end here. Blackout package would be essentially this piece, mirror backs, door handles, and then whatever we do in regards to the tires and wheels. So all the Cascadias will have adaptive cruise and crash mitigation. This is part of the blind spot monitoring system right here, which that can be deactivated. The adaptive cruise, if you're on cruise, it's adaptive cruise. You can change your following distance all through steering wheel controls though. A little bit wider windows for 2025, went from 48-inch wide window to a 54-inch wide window, but I couldn't talk them into going any taller window. Wins and losses at times, I guess. So no real different solid surface entry well right here. Villa furniture. So this is a Rockport stain, which is more of a gray tone stain. There again, you'll notice whenever you change wood stain, at times your upholstery fabric will look a little bit different, will look gray versus tan. Another thing we kind of push for were solid wood valances. We can always take and change those out after the fact. Double L, we got a good working relationship with Double L to be able to take and change those out. So if a customer didn't want the fabric covered window valance, we could just do solid wood there. So a convertible dinette that does lower down to be able to put a kid there. We generally option all of our Explorers with the theater seats as opposed to a couch, but we could take and change this out for a couch. It's one thing they started doing in 2025. It's a little tight in there. So this is a step cover right here. We need to cut like holes in them and provide two of them and have make a, what's the word I'm thinking? Cornhole. So nice, easy entry into the cab. These are recovered seats, so this is a truck type seat versus an RV based seat. Does have the dual screens from Freightliner, and then it has your 7-inch Voyager monitor there. We will generally outfit these with a hitch cam that we can take and add after the fact, and then if you have any kind of camera needs, we can do additional video switchers. We've taken units and done 2 different monitors. There's a lot of different stuff we could do here at the dealership. This is similar to what you'd see on Mercedes, so with it being Daimler. Here's all your steering controls. So we had a customer inquire the other day, he didn't realize that basically this is how this works. So you can go this way or this way and then touch it as well. So basically to be able to run through all your systems in that dash, you'll have left systems and right systems, but you have to scroll over to your right and then go through everything. So we could probably do a video just on operation of that at some point in time. Leveling there, of course, everything's integrated in the Firefly as well. We noticed a comment today where we didn't open the refrigerator, so you'll still see my water bottles when I drove it in the day. So water bottles and a fridge, riveting in the RV world. So 18 cubic foot, which is pretty much standard on all of the product lines, whether you're talking Valencia all the way up to the Classics. Use a little bit different countertop. So normally in the Denali, that's the decor package. So Denali would be basically this guy, your window valances, a few different other like bedding options. So I normally use the Aurora Cloud. This is Aurora Cream, so it's a little bit lighter countertop, which I think shows a little bit better versus that darker countertop. We generally don't option out the fireplace here. There again, it's a hard sell for me on the fireplace because I'm so used to seeing them in travel trailers. If somebody had to have a fireplace, we could definitely add one after the fact and be able to flip it open and be able to still have storage back behind. That's one thing I don't like about doing it from the factory is you don't have any storage back behind. The TV will come out, kind of turn around, and you do have some storage back there on each side. I don't know if you can see the little cabinets. Pop this back into place. It's a little bit updated trim around your slides, the AC covers, and then these light pieces up here they added for 2025 as well. The Gerard controller is right there, and then we have the Teton router and the Starlink right there on the left. So that will be a cell-based router if you like it. So you could do cell and the Starlink all together. We'll come back here to the mid bath. Same type deal. It wasn't as tight on this, but this drives me nuts. So we'll take the edge of the door and just got a little bit off the, so it doesn't hit the mat. The bottom edge of the door doesn't hit the mat. So the sit test, decent amount of room in here. So new side trim here. I just noticed that they stuck this little piece of trim right here. It is a thicker trim. Does this seem interesting to you?
That's interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, you do have a little gap there, but it's thick. It's thick. It's there. So we'll see what we can't get done about that. Everywhere else it kind of ties in. Really not too much of an issue. We always like to kind of air the new coaches out. So any new coach will be stored indoors, and we run all the fans to kind of just get the clear coat. Gets a little rough at times on a brand new coach. They use different clear coat for 25, but still nice to kind of air out, get the new coach smell out. So no real difference here other than a little bit different nightstand on each side. So you have a little spot to be able to put a phone, maybe put like a small drink cup down there. And then on each side of the bed, you have some little openings. You can put all of your skip bow sets right there. All your skip bows and all your playing card sets. A whole collection of Pokemon and playing cards and skip bow. So the bed itself is a 66-inch wide bed. It's 75 inches long. The reason why I do that is they haven't changed up the cabinets here. So if you're looking at a Classic or an XL, cabinets are deeper here and the mattress goes underneath. But if a guy was taller, we could always change this mattress out to a flip over mattress to be able to accommodate a little more length. I'm fine as long as my head's kind of shoved up there at the headboard, so just kind of keep that in mind on any of the 75-inch long mattresses. AC cover as well, ceiling fan. We'll come back to the back bath. I've slowly gotten more accustomed to this setup right here, because sometimes you need to do dual duty and do a little bit of laundry while you're sitting down on the job. But at first, this really drove me nuts, and I can assure you I'm going to get some comments about that. There's just only so many ways to be able to fit this much stuff in a 40-foot coach. And most of the diesel pusher world, you'll see your washer dryer that come into the back bath. Something kind of has to give. Now in the truck world, we generally don't see the washer dryer in the back bath. It just kind of is what it is. The 38 is obviously mid, but everything else is 40+ foot, and you'll have your washer dryer kind of mid coach. But just to be able to fit 4 slides, bath and a half, you kind of have to do what you do. And it still has a decent amount of room here in the rear bath. They've done a better job. I mean, normally it's not too much of an issue if you got this pushed over. We can do some mild adjustment there. Try to pull that in so you don't have to worry about pushing that out of the way, but things are just tighter in a smaller environment. So open up this, you'll see a fair amount of room here. And then those are the valves for your washer dryer there on the lower right. Makes it nice to be able to turn those off completely. We'll come here into the rear shower. Does have the flip down here. So a fair amount of room to be able to shampoo your big mop like I got here and not be able to get up into the ceiling. A skylight will be standard though on all the Explorer line. And then, so solid surface, and they do the little strip within that. So I'll open up these to kind of just see all the shelves are convertible. They can be moved around here on the right. Left will be fixed though. So, oh, here we go. You want to come back here? So this is exceptionally nice to have this additional closet here. You have a smaller closet there. We could take and move these shelves up top, and then you could do hanging below. Lots of different convertibility. There's not a hanging rod down here low, but we could take and add one after the fact. So here again, it's kind of a matter of preference and what somebody might need and or want. Trying to think of some other stuff to be able to talk about for the 2025s. There's really not too much.
Cabinet at the door.
Hold on. 24, they started this. Ooh, it's a little tight in here. So they do have a 110 plug if you want to be able to do a CPAP. We have gone through and done some like little through holes there to be able to have the CPAP and run through a hole. So lots of different stuff that we could take and add. And we've added lots of 110 outlets in these previously, but 24 and newer it became standard to be able to have that 110 back there in that cabinet. So slightly different setup here for this cabinet. Makes it nice to be able to, hang some, larger jackets in there, maybe, dog leash, dog harness within that. Lots of different room there. And then they're going to change this up slightly because they went to these metal handles, which makes it nice as far as in and out of the cab or in and out of the side entry. But because of this door, they couldn't do that. So they're going to change this up a little bit, mid 25. And so it'd be interesting to see what they do there. That's the problem, is you really can't, as of right now, I can't do anything below that. But we could use like a previous wooden handle that they had on some of the others, as long as it went from there to there, be able to make it easier to get in and out of the cabin. Convertible shelves there as well. And then they did a few different things on under the electrical menu here. They actually display the servo, and so instead of the Touch 5 monitor being inside, it's actually in the compartment. They put all this. So the nice thing about the servo is kind of let you know what's going on, what your input is, and then when you're totally boondocking, it'll let you roughly know how much time you have left on current AC draw or current DC draw, and then what you're getting, how much solar power you're getting put in as well. So it's pretty easy to take and follow. So nice setup to be able to bring that in this versus having to go down in a cabinet. Now all this stuff is accessible via a Bluetooth app, and then also for 25 they went with the Eclipse. So the nice thing about the Eclipse is integrated with the that Teton. Help me out. Router.
Okay.
Router. So it's integrated with the Teton router. So once all that's hooked up to the internet, regardless of whether we're doing a cell base or whether we're doing Starlink, you can completely remote log into this coach. You could run the entire coach. Anything that's on the app itself, you could run it remotely from 1,000 miles away. Whereas previously it was just Bluetooth, and so if you wanted to take and add that after the fact, there were lots of different issues with connectivity. But with the Eclipse, it's a little bit more convenient. And then with that Teton router, that's been a little bit better setup to be able to integrate with this versus the Starlink router. Just kind of keep that in mind. We've had pretty good luck with it, but it's still we're only into our 5th or 6th coach for 2025. So still a little bit to learn there, but it's nice to be able to have that option to be able to do very far off distant remote login. We get a lot of customers that will leave their coaches in a campground for a week, fly home. So you go through and make sure your conditioner's operating, make sure everything is okay within the coach. And then with the Starlink, we get people that will add internal cameras as well, so you can do a remote login, actually see what's going on off the camera as well. So kind of keep that in mind. Starlink, this coach doesn't even have satellite on board. I think, I kind of got off on a tangent driving this coach the other day. By the way, I drove this coach 75 miles an hour the whole way home, got 9.5 miles a gallon, which is, I've driven Explorers in the past. I've never been able to get 9.5 miles a gallon. I think that's due in part to the DT transmission. Just very seldom did it downshift. It downshifted maybe to 11th gear. So, the coach wanted to run 75. The speed limit is 75, so I ran 75 the whole way. Did a great job, but I got into this tangent, listening to some of the Prevo manufacturers, and this technology kind of goes all the way through, whether you're talking this product all the way up to, the $2 or $3 million. Satellites are kind of dead. Starlink is a new thing. People expect some type of remote login, so kind of tying in with all that. And then the idea is, you expect to be able to pull your phone out and be able to operate so many things within your coach. You also expect to be able to stream, Netflix, Hulu. They've done a great job at getting far more money out of your pocket than the guys that directed. But there's a million different TV shows, but you're going to have to get a little bit of everybody. So it's cool to be able to do that. It's much more home-like versus, all right, put our satellite up. Well, the satellite's going to, one problem after the next. And so basically the satellite woes have gone away, and you'll see that all the way across the product, or all the way across the RV line. So really happy to have the Starlink. We will see what the new Starlink Mini has in store, but as of right now, we're using the old traditional in-motion Starlink. We don't do too many of the remote mounts, but it's all technology, and it will definitely change in time. And as soon as we get it all figured out, they'll change it. But nice to be able to kind of have that. Anybody that's interested in this coach, our website's pmcrv.com. Like I said, we do have the Stratus. It's an Allison, a little bit different wood stain, but basically the same options within the coach. So it'll have more solar panels. It'll have the dual Victron inverters as well. So that's kind of will be standard. So you'll see most of the dealers will bring them in with the same type of equipment. But somebody that wants kind of the true rocket ship of Explorers, to me, this DT powered really can't be beat. I'll try to bring more of those in as time progresses. Anybody that wants to come up and do a factory tour with us, let us know. We'll be back up in Indiana about another week. We have a painted CMR. We just sold a 25 model Classic this week to a local customer, so it's nice. The business is still going, a little bit more select. You know, customers do have some choices, but it's nice for the customers to be able to have those choices and deal with good quality dealerships. There's a handful of great quality dealerships out there that have a lot of service before and after the sale, not just here at Performance Motor Coaches, but there's some great guys out there, so kind of keep that in mind. And definitely be, ask the questions whenever you go to shop for a new coach. Get pictures of the service department, figure out what's going on, talk to the service manager. If you can't talk to the service manager, probably don't need to spend that $500,000-$600,000 within that dealership. So that's one thing that really sets us apart. I came here to be able to do some cleanup stuff here at the dealership. Had a customer that we made a little boo-boo in our service department, but I wanted to be here today. I want to shake his hand, thank him for his business, rest assured that everything was going well. Found another problem as he was leaving, and I was back there in the shop today with the guys, and that's something that you don't find in most service departments and most dealerships. So very hands-on, always glad to be with the guys in the shop. This is definitely a passion of mine. I enjoy these trucks. I enjoy building them. I enjoy changing them and making them better for the consumer. And it's fun to be able to drive them. I wish I had more time to drive them because they're fun to drive. It was a great opportunity for the dog and I to get in and drive 75 miles an hour the whole way and hammer down to come back to the dealership. So anybody wants to come out and see us in Texas, we do have some inventory. Anybody wants to do a factory tour as well, let us know. We'll be back up there. Regardless of whether you're Renegade or Showalter, or you want to see both. There's no perfect coach. There's great attributes about either one. Timing definitely affects that, but Showalter's getting a better on timing. Renegade is saying yes to a lot more things, so happy to see that. It's still a little bit of battle, but still two great products for two totally different reasons. But more and more people are jumping to the C market, and this higher end market has really maintained its resale. You don't see a lot of those out there in the market, so anybody that's thinking about jumping in, come out, check us out, give us an opportunity to be able to earn your business. We don't have a problem getting more aggressive on pricing and be able to give you the best possible customer service. So really appreciate you guys watching the videos. Sean Lee has helped me in the last week to kind of figure out who's watching, where they're watching from, what's going on. And it's kind of crazy. We're only like 20% of our viewership is actually from our subscribers. So there's a lot of people out there that are watching us that aren't liking the videos, that aren't subscribing. We still appreciate the viewership, and anytime you can hit the subscribe button, please do. We appreciate that. There's there's business within a business to be able to watch where people are coming from, try to figure out, who's buying your product and where they're coming from and what's important to them. So if there's anything you guys ever want to know, we try to answer, the constructive comments. If you're just bitching about this and that and the other, and I've had a bad day, you might be the proverbial kicking post. But if you have something constructive, leave a comment. If you want to talk to me here at the dealership, give us a call here. I'll be happy to kind of spend time. Most of our time, very seldom it's a 5-minute conversation with the customer. It's usually an hour or two, so kind of keep that in mind. So it's difficult to be able to get back to everybody the same day, but we try to give people the appropriate time to be able to talk about the coach. Change this, change that. What do you like? What do you don't like? And for people that have been watching me for a long time, you're pretty much not going to sugarcoat anything. I'll tell you exactly how it is, exactly how I feel, and you can take all that information and either think I'm an idiot or value some of it, half of it, whatever. So We'll keep on rambling on, but always appreciate you guys watching the videos. Make sure you guys like, tag, and subscribe. Give us a shout here at the dealership, pmcrv.com. The phone number is 806-412-0015, or my email is Darren, D-A-R-I-N, at performancemotorcoaches.com. Thanks a lot.